Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Harvey. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. Improving your personality and your confidence is not about becoming somebody else. It's about finally deciding to become the best version of who you already are. Too many people wake up every morning doubting themselves, shrinking their dreams, and questioning their worth. And I'm here to tell you this confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build one day, one decision, one habit at a time. Every single day you wake up, you are given a fresh opportunity to choose how you show up in this world. The way you talk to yourself in the morning matters. If the first voice you hear is negative, doubtful, or fearful, you've already started the day behind. You have to learn to encourage yourself. If nobody else claps for you, you clap for yourself. When you speak life into your own mind, you start walking different, talking different, and carrying yourself like someone who knows they matter. Your personality grows when you decide to treat people better, even when they don't deserve it. Confidence doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from character. Be kind. Be respectful. Listen more than you speak. When you make people feel valued, your presence becomes powerful. People don't remember how loud you were. They remember how you made them feel. And when you know you bring value into a room, confidence follows naturally. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with something so simple, yet so powerful, that it can change the entire direction of your life if you do it consistently. I'm talking about the way you speak to yourself every single day. Most people don't realize it, but the first conversation you have every morning is not with anyone else. It's with yourself. And too many of us are our own worst critics. We wake up and immediately start telling ourselves all the things we can't do, all the ways we're not enough, all the reasons we'll fail. And when you start your day like that, let me tell you, the rest of the day is already stacked against you. Your mind believes what you feed it, and if what you're feeding it is doubt, fear, or negativity, then your confidence will shrink and your personality will feel dim. But here's the good news, just like you can feed it negativity, you can feed it positivity, and when you do, everything about you begins to shift. You see, speaking positively to yourself is not about pretending life is perfect or lying to yourself about your abilities. It's about acknowledging your potential, your worth, and the strengths you already have. It's about training your mind to recognize opportunities instead of obstacles, possibilities instead of limitations. Think about it. How often have you said, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough before you even tried? Now, imagine if you replace that thought with, or I can do this, or I'm capable more than I realize. That simple shift in self-talk can completely change how you approach challenges, how you carry yourself, and how others see you. Confidence begins in the mind, and the words you speak to yourself are the foundation of that confidence. Every morning, I want you to make it a habit to speak to yourself like you are your own biggest supporter. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I've got this. Today, I am going to handle whatever comes my way. I am strong. I am worthy. I am capable. Say it out loud, not quietly in your head. Feel it as you say it. The more you repeat these positive affirmations, the more they become part of your reality. It's not magic, it's practice. And when you do this consistently, your personality begins to reflect that inner strength. You walk taller, you speak clearer, and people notice the energy you bring into a room. Positive self-talk changes how you think, how you feel, and how you act, and all of that builds a personality that draws people in. Let me be real with you for a second. Life is not all be setbacks. There will be people who doubt you. There will be moments when you feel small, invisible, or incapable. And in those moments, it is so easy to let the negative voice take over. But those moments are when positive self-talk matters the most. When you remind yourself of your value, your purpose, and your potential, you start to rise above fear and doubt. You start to carry yourself with the quiet power of someone who knows they are more than the obstacles in front of them. That's what confidence looks like, showing up fully even when life tries to knock you down, because the conversation in your own mind is encouraging, not discouraging. Another thing I want you to understand is that your self-talk shapes your habits. When you constantly tell yourself that you can succeed, you are more likely to take action. When you constantly doubt yourself, you freeze, procrastinate, or give up. The words you choose for yourself are like planting seeds in your mind. Positive words grow into positive actions, and negative words grow into doubt, fear, and hesitation. So every time you find yourself thinking negatively, stop. Reframe it. Speak to yourself like you are already the person you want to become. I promise you, if you do this daily, it will begin to transform not just your confidence, but your entire personality. You will become someone who naturally attracts opportunities, who naturally inspires others, and who naturally commands respect. Finally, let me tell you something personal. This is how I built my own confidence. Every morning, even before anyone else saw me, I had to convince myself that I was capable, that I was deserving, and that I could handle whatever the day threw at me. I had to speak life into myself because no one else was going to do it for me. And that daily practice, that habit of positive self-talk, has been one of the most powerful tools in shaping not just my confidence, but the way I show up in the world. And the beauty of it is, it works for anyone. You don't need a fancy program or a mentor. You just need a mirror, your voice, and a commitment to speak positively to yourself every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about confidence and personality that most people overlook. You can dress fancy, talk smooth, and carry yourself like a king. But if your character is weak, all that means nothing. Real confidence doesn't come from how loud you are, how many people know your name, or how many things you own. True confidence comes from the way you treat people, from the respect you show, and from the kindness you give without expecting anything in return. Your personality shines brightest when it's grounded in character, because people can see through fake confidence faster than you think. The first thing to understand is that kindness is not a weakness, it is a superpower. Too many people think that being tough, being blunt, or being harsh is what makes them respected. But let me tell you, the people who are remembered, the people who are admired, are the ones who make others feel valued. When you treat someone with respect, when you offer a helping hand, when you smile at someone who didn't expect it, you are actually building your own self-respect. Confidence grows when you know you can walk through this world with integrity. You don't have to be cruel or arrogant to prove that you're strong. You only need to be consistent in the way you treat others. Think about the people you admire. I guarantee you, it's not just because they were talented or successful. It's because they had a way of making people feel important. Your personality becomes magnetic when people feel comfortable around you, when they feel seen, heard, and respected. And you don't need a special title or position to do that. Respecting everyone, whether it's the janitor at your office, the barista at your coffee shop, or a stranger on the street, is a daily practice that builds character over time. People notice it, even if you don't realize it. And when people notice it, they begin to trust you. And trust is the foundation of confidence. Kindness and respect also help you deal with negativity. Life will throw people at you who are rude, critical, and unfair. But when your character is strong, you don't sink to their level. You respond with grace. You don't need to fight for validation. You already have it because you know who you are. That's what separates people with real confidence from people who just act confident. When you show kindness, even in the face of hostility, you demonstrate strength. And that strengthens your personality in ways that words alone cannot. Another important point is that kindness is contagious. When you treat people well, then reflect it back to you, and the environment around you changes. You start attracting people who respect and value you. And confidence grows naturally in an atmosphere of mutual respect and positivity. Your reputation, your aura, and your presence are all influenced by how you make others feel. So, building character through kindness is not just about being a good person, it's about creating a life where your personality can shine without effort. Finally, remember that respect begins with yourself. You cannot truly respect others if you don't respect your own time, your own body, and your own values. When you hold yourself to a high standard and treat yourself with care, it becomes easier to treat others the same way. Confidence and personality go hand in hand with integrity and kindness. And when you practice both consistently, you become someone people naturally want to be around, someone people trust, and someone who commands attention without ever trying to force it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that many people overlook when it comes to building confidence and developing a strong personality. You can have all the knowledge in the world, all the skills, and all the good intentions, but if your appearance and body language are telling the world a different story, you are holding yourself back. Confidence is not just in your words, it's in how you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, and the energy you give off. People notice you before you even speak, and your body language often speaks louder than any words you say. Every single day, you have an opportunity to show the world who you are before you even open your mouth. Stand tall. Hold your head high. Look people in the eye when you speak. A straight posture doesn't just make you look confident. It makes you feel confident. When you slouch, mumble, or avoid eye contact, your mind tells you, I am small, I am unsure, I am not ready, even if that's not true. But when you stand tall, shoulders back, chin up, chest out, and move with purpose, you send a message to yourself and everyone else that you are someone who commands respect. People respond to energy, and body language is energy in action. Appearance matters too, and I'm not talking about being flashy or buying expensive clothes. I'm talking about taking pride in yourself. Dress neatly, groom yourself well, and pay attention to small details. When you look clean, put together, and intentional, your personality is amplified. You're telling the world, I value myself, and I expect to be taken seriously. Confidence is not just internal, it's reflected externally, and your appearance is the first impression you give before anyone even talks to you. Small daily habits like combing your hair, polishing your shoes, wearing clean clothes, and presenting yourself with care build an internal belief system that says, I am worth it. That belief grows into a confident personality that people respect. Body language goes beyond posture. It's about the way you move, the gestures you use, and the energy you carry in every step. Walk like you own your space. Even if you feel nervous inside, shake hands firmly. Smile genuinely. Speak clearly and with intention. Every movement you make sends a signal about your confidence. When your body communicates certainty, your mind starts believing it too. And let me tell you, people notice it. You don't need to shout to command attention. Confidence in your body speaks louder than words ever could. Facial expressions matter too. Smile when it's appropriate, show engagement, and avoid looking down or distracted when talking to someone. A friendly, open expression draws people in and makes them feel comfortable around you. Your personality becomes magnetic when your body language complements your words. On the other hand, crossed arms, fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or a slouch posture can make even the smartest, most talented person look insecure or uninterested. Every small adjustment in the way you present yourself sends a message about your confidence, whether you intend it or not. And here's the key. Improving your appearance and body language is a daily habit, not a one-time effort. Confidence is built day by day, moment by moment, As you make conscious choices about how you carry yourself, each morning, remind yourself that your body is a tool for communicating who you are, and use it intentionally. Groom yourself, dress, move with purpose, and hold yourself in a way that reflects the strong, confident person you are becoming. When you combine a positive mindset with intentional appearance and confident body language, people notice. They respond to you differently. Doors open, conversations flow, and opportunities present themselves. Your personality becomes vibrant, magnetic, and unforgettable because your external presentation matches the confidence that is growing inside you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that too many people overlook when it comes to building confidence and enhancing your personality. Confidence is not just about how you look or how you speak. It's about what's inside your mind. Your personality is shaped by the knowledge you carry, the experiences you embrace, and the skills you develop. If you want to grow into someone people admire, someone who commands respect, someone who inspires, then you must commit yourself to learning and personal growth every single day. Think about it. Knowledge is power, and it gives you confidence in ways that nothing else can. When you know your stuff, when you understand the world around you, when you can engage in meaningful conversations, you carry yourself differently. You don't have to brag or force people to notice you. People sense your intelligence, your wisdom, and your curiosity. That's the kind of confidence that can't be faked. And let me tell you, growth is not an event, it's a habit. It's something you have to practice consistently, day in and day out. Reading books, listening to podcasts, attending seminars, watching educational videos. These are not just activities, they are investments in yourself, and every ounce of knowledge you gain builds a stronger, more confident personality. Personal growth also comes from stepping out of your comfort zone. Too many people stay in their little bubbles, scared to try new things, scared of failure, and scared of what others might think. But growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you challenge yourself, when you take risks, when you push past fear and uncertainty. Every time you try something new, every time you learn a new skill, every time you expand your mind, you gain confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable. You prove to yourself that failure is not the end, but a lesson, and that lesson shapes your character and personality. Investing in yourself also means reflecting on your experiences. Learn from your mistakes. Study your successes. Personal growth is not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about applying it. When you apply what you learn, when you take action on the lessons you discover, you start transforming from the inside out. That transformation builds a personality that is not only confident but resilient, adaptable, and inspiring. People are drawn to those who continuously improve because they see someone who is serious about life, someone who refuses to stay stagnant, someone who embodies growth. Another important aspect is surrounding yourself with the right people. Learning and growth are amplified when you are around others who challenge you, encourage you, and push you to be better. Mentors, friends, colleagues, and even strangers who inspire you. These relationships feed your mind and strengthen your personality. Avoid those who drain your energy, who discourage your dreams, or who try to convince you that you can't improve. Your environment plays a huge role in your personal growth, and aligning yourself with people who uplift and motivate you is a daily choice that fuels confidence. Finally, investing in learning and personal growth is about committing to lifelong improvement. You are never too old, too experienced, or too talented to stop learning. Every day presents a new opportunity to become smarter, wiser, and stronger. The more you invest in yourself, the more you gain clarity, the more you develop self-trust, and the more naturally confident you become. And as your confidence grows, so does your personality. People start noticing your presence, your wisdom, and your energy. Your mind becomes a magnet, drawing opportunities respect, and admiration because you have taken the time to cultivate it intentionally. When you dedicate yourself to learning and growth, you are not just preparing for success, you are shaping the person you are meant to become. Confidence follows knowledge, and personality follows growth. They create a version of yourself that is unstoppable, inspiring, and unforgettable. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about something that many people underestimate when it comes to building confidence and developing a strong personality. It's not just about looking good, speaking well, or even knowing a lot. It's about integrity with yourself. The promises you make to yourself matter more than any promise you make to anyone else. If you can't keep your word to yourself, how can you expect others to trust or respect you? Discipline is the bridge between where you are now and the person you want to become, and keeping promises to yourself is the foundation of that bridge. Every day you make little promises to yourself. Maybe you promise to wake up early, eat healthy, exercise, practice a skill, or dedicate time to learning. Too many people break these promises repeatedly and then wonder why they feel insecure or frustrated with themselves. When you fail to honor your commitments, even the small ones, it chips away at your confidence. You begin to doubt your abilities, your determination, and even your worth. But when you make a habit of keeping promises to yourself, you build a deep trust with the most important person in your life, you. And that self-trust is the root of unshakable confidence. Discipline is what turns promises into results. It's easy to feel motivated once in a while, but motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what keeps you going when you don't feel like it. When you decide to show up for yourself every day, even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or exhausting, you are building a personality that is strong, reliable, and magnetic. People notice discipline. It's not loud or flashy, but it commands respect. The way you handle your commitments says more about your character than any words you could speak. Let me give you an example. Imagine you promise yourself that you are going to write, read, or work on your goals for an hour every morning. Some days you'll feel tired, unmotivated, or distracted. Most people will give in to those feelings, but not you. When you stick to your promise, even in small ways, you're sending a message to yourself that you matter. You're proving that your goals, your dreams, and your growth are worth prioritizing. That habit of honoring your word creates confidence. And confidence creates a magnetic personality that others can't help but notice. Discipline also teaches you patience and resilience. The world is not always going to give you what you want when you want it. Life will test you. People will doubt you. Challenges will come. But when you have a foundation of discipline, when you consistently keep promises to yourself, you develop a mindset that can withstand setbacks and criticism. You become someone who doesn't quit when things get tough, someone who can be relied on, someone whose presence carries weight because people know you are consistent and trustworthy. Another crucial aspect is that keeping promises to yourself creates momentum. Every time you honor your commitment, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable. One promise leads to another. One habit leads to another, and soon you're operating at a level of confidence and personal power that others can feel just by being around you. Your personality grows because your actions are aligned with your intentions, and people are drawn to authenticity and integrity. Finally, remember that discipline and self-promise are lifelong practices. You will never arrive at a point where you can stop. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen your commitment to yourself, to show up, and to push a little further. When you consistently do this, your confidence becomes unshakable. Your personality becomes magnetic, and you become someone who naturally inspires, leads, and influences others. The world respects people who respect themselves, and that respect begins with the promises you keep and the discipline you practice every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, Let me tell you something that too many people get wrong when it comes to building confidence and developing a strong personality. Too often, people get stuck trying to be perfect. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect look, or the perfect opportunity. And while they wait, life passes them by. Confidence doesn't come from perfection, it comes from progress. Personality doesn't develop from flawlessness, it develops from effort, consistency, and the courage to keep moving forward, even when things aren't perfect. Perfection is an illusion, and chasing it will only leave you frustrated, discouraged, and stuck. There's no such thing as a flawless human being. The people you admire, the people you look up to, they did there because they were perfect. They got there. Because they refused to give up, because they focused on getting better every single day, and because they celebrated progress over perfection. Every small step you take, every tiny improvement you make adds up over time. And when you focus on progress, you build confidence that is real, earned, and sustainable. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're trying to improve a skill, maybe public speaking, writing, or even your fitness. If you wait until you can speak perfectly, write flawlessly, or lift a certain weight, you'll never start. But when you focus on making small improvements every day, you see growth. You notice that you're a little stronger, a little faster, a little more articulate than yesterday. And those small victories compound into big changes. That's how real confidence is built, step by step, day by day, through consistent progress, not through chasing some impossible ideal of perfection. Focusing on progress also changes the way you see yourself. Instead of beating yourself up for mistakes or shortcomings, you start celebrating your efforts. You start appreciating that you are on a journey, that every failure is a lesson, and that every small improvement is proof that you are capable of growth. When you stop expecting perfection, you give yourself permission to try, to fail to learn, and to improve. And that permission, ladies and gentlemen, is incredibly freeing. It allows your personality to flourish because you are no longer weighed down by fear, doubt, or self-criticism. You become more approachable, more relatable, and more inspiring to others. Another important thing is that progress creates momentum. Once you start focusing on improvement rather than perfection, you take consistent action. You start showing up every day, putting in the work, and building habits that support your goals. Momentum leads to confidence. Momentum leads to results. And as your confidence grows, your personality becomes magnetic. People are drawn to those who are consistently improving because they see someone who refuses to stay stagnant, someone who inspires through action, and someone who demonstrates that success is not about being perfect, but about being persistent. Remember, perfection is not the standard. Life doesn't require you to be flawless. The world rewards effort, courage, and the willingness to grow. Every day you make progress, no matter how small, you are becoming a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Your personality becomes richer, more dynamic, and more appealing because it reflects growth, authenticity, and resilience. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is far more powerful than perfection ever could be. So focus on progress, celebrate your steps forward, embrace your mistakes as lessons, and keep moving. Confidence when you act, learn, and improve consistently, and your personality shines when it's shaped by determination and growth rather than the impossible standard of perfection.